أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك أستغيث أصلح لي شأني ولا تكلني إلى نفسي طرفة عين. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا. ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا. ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. اللهم صل وسلم على محمد. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Thank you very much for joining. And today we're continuing our discussion on the messengership of Muhammad. Before I jump into the topic, I received a message reminding me that I need to send peace and blessings when I mention Muhammad's name. I apologize if I forget to do so. It's just for the means of the discussion. I just say the name as is, and if anybody wants to send peace and blessings privately or secretly, they can. So I'm sorry if this offends anybody, but thank you very much for the reminder. Okay, so I think we have been studying together the different ways one can relate or connect to the idea of, to the reality of the messengership of Muhammad. I mean, personally, this has been helping me a lot. Just seeing the different ways to basically read Muhammad's character and personality. As someone who is revealing God's names or revealing our sustainer. So today we will continue, starting from the 13th droplet. So it says, what does he want? This pride of the human race, who taking behind him all the eminent of mankind, stands on top of the world and raising up his hand is praying. What is this unique being who is truly the glory of the cosmos seeking? Listen, he is seeking eternal happiness. He is asking for eternal life and to meet with God. He wants paradise, and he wants all the sacred divine names, which display their beauty and decrease in the mirrors of beings. Even if it were not for reasons, for the fulfillment of those countless requests, like mercy, grace, wisdom, and justice, a single of that being's prayers would have been sufficient for the construction of paradise, the creation of which is as easy for divine power as the creation of the spring. Yes, just as his messengership was the reason for the opening of this place of examination and trial, so too his worship and servitude to God were the reason for opening of the next world. I think in this paragraph, it's very interesting to see that he is seeking eternal happiness and he's asking for eternal life and to meet with God. and he wants paradise. I feel like I'm so distant from myself that I can't even understand what does it mean to like seek eternal happiness. I mean, I know I want it, but I think so many things have taught me that eternal happiness is not a possibility, and that paradise is just, you know, some random place that's just going to be prettier than the world. But here to read that I can actually want it, meaning I'm reading this as if it's saying, well, you are created with this want, and if I'm created with it, I should feel it, or I should realize it. And I guess I'm grateful to the idea that someone is seeking eternal happiness, that someone is showing that there are sacred divine names to be wanted, or someone is showing that it is a possibility to want to meet with God. Because I feel like if I just say this, I want to meet with God, I might sound strange, but if my creator is communicating to me through my prophet, and the prophet is saying, well, I want to meet with God, I want paradise, now I'll feel comfortable, or at least I will, yeah, I think comfortable is the right word. I'll feel comfortable asking myself these questions. So I know I must have heard this somewhere or many times, but I don't think I've understood it the way I understand it today, or with this chain of reasoning. So I appreciate this very much. And I see that it's underlined. So if you want to share your thoughts here. Yeah, go ahead, Brother Hadi.
Yes, I underlined it as I was reading the text before joining the discussion. Now, when we read the text, I am sure I was away for some weeks, and you must be maybe you must have mentioned about this aspect of the text, but I'm not aware of it, so I will just say what I have the impression as I was reading the text. It looks like the text is talking about a person who is called Muhammad, but the text in general is the explanation why we need prophets. Do we really need the prophets? That is the main purpose of the text. Of course, when the need for the prophethood or messengership, such a thing must exist, the author talks about the Prophet Muhammad, which kind of mission he has fulfilled. After realizing that his mission was representing the human capacity human beings, uncorrupted human capacity wants eternal happiness. What do I mean by uncorrupted, or who will decide whether a human being has corrupted his human senses or not? By looking at the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, which is represented in the Quran, we understand that human nature has been created for eternal happiness. Uncorrupted human nature means if we have not really conditioned ourselves with only concerning this worldly life, and of course, as a result of defining our existence in terms of body only and bodily needs, this is corrupted human nature, because it is obvious that human beings must be defined or understood not only in terms of bodily needs, but also human needs should not be ignored. Human needs represent human feelings, and human feelings are described in the Quran as you are addressing the human beings. You are created for eternal happiness by saying that I have prepared paradise for you where all your human expectations will be fulfilled. Of course, we have to bear in mind that the Quran presents itself as the speech of the Creator, creator of the universe, and therefore creator of the human beings. Human beings are created in such a way that human feelings never get satisfaction from this world. But bodily needs get satisfaction from this world, but feelings are open-ended, and the world is transient. That contradiction is out there. That is why human feelings desire much more than what is given to human beings in this world. Quran says, the one who created the human beings and the universe is demonstrating his capacity through the creation of the universe and addressing human beings that I have created your feelings as well as the creator of the universe. So your human feelings will be in need of satisfaction. The prophets, Prophet Muhammad, particularly in this example, but generally the prophets always speak in terms of the needs of human feelings. Always speak in terms of needs of human feelings. But it doesn't mean that the prophets reject the human bodily needs. No, but emphatically talks about human feelings and human quality, for example, the consciousness, intelligence, and needs of endless, limitless needs of human feelings. Of course, materialistic worldview cannot address how the human feelings need to be satisfied, because materialistic worldview rejects the creation, the reality of the creator of the universe, and reduces the universe to itself only, declares that universe is nothing but as it stands out there by itself. That is the rough description of the existence of the universe from the materialistic worldview. When it comes to human feelings, they try to reduce them to material sources or reasons, because their mind is closed completely to the possibility that the universe might have a creator. They don't think about it. They say, no, universe is as it is, and we look at it, but strangely, human feelings are desiring something beyond the capacity of this universe. Let me explain it. They say, let's explain it. And maybe it is imagination, maybe it is just learned from the culture or human weak points. These kind of interpretations they present to us. But what we see that these interpretations cannot do justice to the reality of human being. On the other hand, when we see ourselves with no prejudice at all, everybody understands and realizes that I really need eternal happiness. All my feelings work alongside with the qualities that I see in the creation of the universe, demonstrating, presenting to me that the creator of the universe must have infinite qualities that I am seeing in the manifested world. So manifested world demonstrates that the source of existence of this world must have absolute power, must have absolute wisdom, knowledge, will, absolute free will. And human feelings desire these qualities. I must belong to a one who has absolute power in order to satisfy my need for eternal happiness. If a source which has no absolute quality, absolute power, absolute knowledge, absolute mercy, absolute free will, cannot satisfy my human feelings. That is why humanity needs eternal happiness. And humanity needs the absolute qualities of the Creator addressing the human beings, saying that I am the only one who can satisfy you. What we see, this news in the Quran as it is presented, or in the revelations from God, the prophetic messages, they all say what the reality of human beings is this. The reality of universe is this. And you must need the creator of the universe in order to feel comfortable, satisfied with your existence in this world. So as a result, we understand that prophetic message is just a way of expressing human reality. Expressing human reality. This is very important. Now, not because only Muhammad wanted eternal happiness and say that, please, God, give me eternal happiness. That's why we believe in the prophethood. No, but this message that the prophets present to us describes my reality. And I feel that this fits my reality, and I confirm it. That's why I understand as a conclusion, if there was no such news, such message, which discloses my reality as it is without being distorted or corrupted, I would never be able to imagine that there will be an eternal happiness and the qualities of the Creator must be absolute, and these absolute qualities must satisfy my needs so that I will be introduced. I am in need of being introduced to such Creator. This is the only way that we are learning from the prophetic messages. None of the philosopher has mentioned this relationship between human needs and the qualities manifested in the universe, so that this represents my reality. If someone said this must be just because he has benefited from the prophetic message. For example, the author is the book that we are reading, the author of the book that we are reading here, speaks in this way just because he learned it from the prophetic messages. And we understand that it doesn't contradict my reality. That is why we have to conclude really the prophetic messages, or the messages that we receive through the prophets, through the people who call themselves or who identify themselves as the message bearers of the creators, then we understand, yes, we need this message. That is why we conclude we need a prophetic message. Otherwise, if there was no prophets, my life will be meaningless, would be meaningless. My life. Why? I will be living, maybe struggling with contradictions in my life. Look at the world. Everybody is seeking happiness, but if they don't listen to the prophetic message, they cannot get any satisfaction at all for their very natural human need, which is eternal happiness. They say, we cannot get it. Hopelessness. Covers their human feelings. Yes, I want, if only it happened. It happens. I would love it, but there is no way to understand it. If they had not listened or paid attention to the prophetic message, they would be falling into despair, inevitable despair, and they will never be satisfied in their life. That's what we have to understand, this kind of telling that prophet wanted this and spoke in this way. But in fact, there's a conclusion of this long interruption of the discussion. In fact, prophet represents human reality in its pure, innocent, uncorrupted form. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Um, anything else here, or any questions from anyone else? Comments? Okay. All right. The following paragraph says, with the perfect order observed. Oh, yeah, I was waiting for that. Go ahead, Brother.
Excuse me, have you discussed this very important, yes, you highlighted it,
Yeah.
very important sentence at all before?
No, we might have touched upon the second part, but definitely not the first.
His messengership was the reason for the opening of this palace of examination and trial.
Yeah.
How do we understand this? I would like to hear your and our friends' opinions about it. His messengership has the reason for the opening of this place of examination and trial. What does it mean really? It is very important, seems to be. Anyone, please?
So in a brief, understanding, let's say I'm in the universe and there's no purpose, no meaning to my existence. I'm wondering why am I here? Why the universe is there? There's no message that comes to me. It would be a meaningless life. I don't know what will happen. I don't know exactly what I'm here for, what my purpose in existence is. Why do I have to live? Why do I have to struggle? So there's really nothing in terms of what my life would have zero, nothing, no meaning at all. It is only when a message tells me, okay, as you were mentioning about realizing my reality, what I am, uncorrupted human nature, what I have to be, then that gives me a purpose in terms of living, and everything becomes meaningful. The whole universe is now my friend, becomes very meaningful. Otherwise, it's just destruction and enemy and going into nothingness. So my life gets the light or the meaning through the message of what the prophets bring.
Exactly. I thank you for your explanation. As I was listening to you, I tried to have or think of a simple example. In a school, if the teacher has not taught anything, and then at the end of the semester comes out and says that, okay, I'm going to give you a test. The students in the school will say, what test? Test about what? Whether you learned or not. What are we expected to learn? You didn't teach us anything. So that you will give me a test or give us a test about what you have taught us. Of course, it doesn't make sense. So none of the teachers can do that. But after teaching the class, at the end, the teachers will have the right to say, okay, what you have learned now? Have you listened to the teachings? Have you done your assignments, whatever, prepared yourself? exactly in the same way. This is a very simple example, very simple example. If there was no messengership, it means no messenger, as Asim, our friend, explained. If I have never heard that the universe must have a creator who is a conscious being, deliberately created the universe, and also deliberately created human capacity to work with the universe and understand the purpose of its existence. I've never heard of it. Of course, every human being wonders what is going on in this wonderful universe. But if they didn't hear, there is a purpose in the creation of the universe. And the source of existence of the universe is really going to give you a test after teaching you, whether you learned or not, whether you were honest to your reality or not. You were honest to the reality of the school, education system, education institution, or not. If I have never heard of it, I found myself in a school, there was no teaching, and I didn't realize that even it was a teacher, it was a school, a learning education institution. I wouldn't realize it. I would just go to the canteen, eat, and go to the dormitory place to sleep, wake up and get my breakfast and carry on my life because there is no class. There is no invitation to the class, no teaching. Now, some people will say human feelings teach, human feelings desire, but cannot guarantee the result. For example, I want to learn. Yes, I want to learn, but what do I learn? There is no teaching. If there was no teaching, I wouldn't learn anything. But the desire to learn is there, but I will be despaired. Why? Yeah, I have to learn something, but there is no way to learn. That is why messengership was the reason for the opening of this place of examination and trial. If there was no messengership at all, there would be no reason why this universe should exist at all. Why? If it was only for the satisfaction of bodily needs, at the end, I will die. There would be no reason why the universe should exist, because the result of my existence would be nothing, zero. I existed, I died, finish, no result. Only because of the messengership brings this news, it means teaching that explaining the purpose of existence of the universe, purpose of existence of human beings, and then showing the way how these purposes should be fulfilled, then I understand, the result of education system of this universe must have a meaningful end. Then I understand whether I will be taken into account whether I have learned my mission in this world or I ignored it. I turned my back to it. And didn't take notice of it, and I didn't do any responsibility on me, although it was present there. That's why we understand that this universe is an examination and trial places, education places, so that we will be taken into account as a result of what we have learned, whether we were loyal to our to what we learned, or we were just denied it, we turned our back to it, ignored it. Accordingly, we will be rewarded or punished, not rewarded, at least. The messengership is the reason for this universe to be an education institution. Otherwise, it would be meaningless for me to live in this world as a human being. That is why we call it, if I lived in this world only to satisfy my bodily needs, then I would not see that I am expected to learn something, and at the end, I will be taken into account for what I have learned, whether I fulfilled what I have learned in my life or not. I practiced it or not. I lived accordingly or not. Messengership is the reason for me that I have to take notice of my responsibility after hearing the message of the messengers. If there was no, in some places of the world, they might have not learned any message from the messengers. So their trial, their examination will not be like my trial and my examination, because I have been presented the class. I have learned, but I may ignored it. I may not I may not have taken notice of it. That's my responsibility. That is the first part of the conclusion of the messengership. I think this is important for us to be aware that if there was no messengership, there would be no examination. So if I am thinking of my responsibility in this world, what am I expected to do? I will, first of all, experience the teachings of the messengers in my life and present it to others. After presenting the message to others in a way that it will be reasonably acceptable by the people, explained in a reasonable way, and then I expect them to be ready for examination and trial. As far as I am concerned, if I have not presented the message of the messengers to the people, I will have no right to expect them to be responsible for fulfilling the necessity of the messages. That is why I have to understand that not only the messengers distribute the message to the people, but also those people who have received the message must distribute to others so that they will benefit from it. If they are honest people within themselves, if they are dishonest people, if they don't really want to learn, That is their responsibility. Thank you. Thank you. I think Anne's mic is open. Anne?
Oh, no. I'm just repeating over and over to myself, if there was no messengership, there would be no examination. To me, those are extremely powerful words. And I really want to thank you for making that clear. They're beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
How about the second part of it? His worship and servitude to God were the reason for the opening of the next one. How do we understand this? I think today we can talk about this. Second part of this last sentence of the paragraph.
I mean, the way I understand it is, if you're so honest, or if I'm gonna, okay, I'll start over. The way I understand this is, it's as if he was so honest to himself, or that he was committed to basically expressing himself or expressing his potential. And then as a result, God is also like reflecting, or is also showing his potential. Of course, they're both doing it very differently, but like, that's how I see it. Like, if in my relationship with my creator, I'm so honest and I'm repeatedly saying how much I want to meet him, or how much I want to know him, or how much I like to know him, then it's almost like my creator will respond with, well, like, I'm gonna let you know me and then continue to know me forever. That's how I get it. Go ahead, Asim.
Yeah, to add to that, I think we can reuse the example of the school. Let's say you go through all the education as a student, and then whatever you learn, you're not going to use it. There's no job, nothing. After graduation, purposeless education, nothing to do with it. So it tells you that whatever in this universe, whatever we're learning, as the student who learns has to graduate and then use it in his professional or next sort of adventure in life. So whatever my purpose in existing, conforming to my uncorrupted human reality, however I am realizing that who my owner is, what my purpose is in terms of recognizing him as my owner, my Lord, and of course going to him as my source of health, my source of satisfaction. So that is the worship and servitude that we learn from the messenger of God. So that, of course, brings meaning that definitely what I'm here struggling for, going through this trial and examination, must open the next creation, which is what I want. I mean, otherwise the whole examination trial has nothing, no purpose at all again.
Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, it is then beautiful. It was a beautiful example that Brother Asim gave. I thought of it with the same thing, same reality, but to settle down in my mind, I thought of another example, again, from the school example. Let's say the teacher, the professor is teaching in the class. None of the students listening to the professor or attending the class, none of them. Do you think the class, nobody learned anything about the subject? Do you think the instructor who will ask the students come and do the practice in the lab? And the Asim said, practice it in your practice after graduation. I am using the same reasoning, but the laboratory is only to practice it what you have learned theoretically in the class. We are in this world worshiping and presenting our servitude to God, to the Creator. It means I understood after benefiting and learning from the message, practice it, put it into practice and say that, oh, my Creator, I learned from the message of the messengers that you sent that you have an absolute being and you are absolutely wise. I learned this. And I feel in my feelings that it must be so. Consciously, I confirm it, and my intelligence is satisfied with it. I am satisfied with it. So please give me the result. I acknowledge that you can and give me. And if my Creator has given me these feelings and the desire for eternal happiness, and if I ask Him to give me the eternal happiness, He will give me, because what is the reason in creating in me the spirit, the soul, human soul, which desires eternal satisfaction? Why the Creator would give it to me if I turn back to Him and ask Him, look, you gave me this need and I am asking you to prepare it. You created me hunger in my body, and I know you prepared food for it as well. You created the food for it. I understand that whatever the need you create, you fulfill it. But one thing that I need eternal happiness, but this universe cannot give me eternal happiness. My bodily life doesn't give me eternal happiness. So I need what? Eternal happiness. I present it to the Creator of these feelings, these needs, and definitely I expect that these feelings must be satisfied. That is why human worship or servitude to God is the reason for the next world. Otherwise, the universe itself would be contradictory within itself. But I see nothing contradiction in the universe, in the existence. If only I acknowledge my Creator and accept that everything in the universe has prepared by him and confirmed that I am created by him and my feelings are created by him. And consciously, I turn back to him and saying that, look, you created this hunger for the eternal happiness. And I understood you can fulfill this hunger. Please give me the food. As you do it, you have created thousands of hundreds, maybe millions of different creatures, living beings. You created them with some needs. Every creature has some needs. And you are satisfying with it. The only thing that is not satisfied in the universe is the needs of human beings for eternal happiness is not satisfied because the universe is a transient being. It is a transient being, but in reality, the universe demonstrates that its creator is infinite. Its creator's qualities are infinite. So we have to understand that the creator of the universe is presenting himself to me, to us, in such a way that I can fulfill your needs only. I only can fulfill your needs. Whoever acknowledges and asks him to fulfill these needs, he must fulfill it. Otherwise, the existence of human needs will be meaningless, which would be the contradiction to the reality of the universe. Whatever is created in the universe everything in the universe is in need of something. Inanimate beings need energy. Inanimate beings need something according to their quality, their purpose of existence. It is much clearer in the life of the living beings. Living beings have needs, and all needs are met, satisfied. The universe is demonstrating this. If I ask my creator, give me eternal happiness, this universe is transient, but you are permanent, you are eternal, definitely he must give it. It means within the act of worship lies the reality of next world, next creation. We shouldn't just turn the next creation into a wishful thinking, wishful expectations. The way I am created, the way that I feel to express my need to the one who can satisfy it, demonstrates that the next world must be created. That's what we learn from the message of the messengers. I mean, this subject seems to be somehow abstract subject, but unfortunately, we may not be trained, educated to think of these kind of realities on a rational base, rather than saying there must be a akhirah, next world, the hereafter. That is what religion gives us the news, which is correct. But rationally, we must be able to explain it, why it is correct. The reasoning in belief matters are not in the fashion. That is why we are not familiar with this kind of reasonings. That seems to be strange. That seems to be just a philosophical argument. Just because belief matters are not explained on a rational base. That is why we are foreigners, aliens to this kind of thinking. Unfortunately, this age, the more globalism is becoming widely spread in the world, the more rational satisfaction of belief matters will be in the air. We have to prepare ourselves. We should not use pre-accepted concepts in presenting belief matters. We have to have rational basis. This book gives us, but we have to think about it, we have to talk about it in details so that we can understand how the reasoning must be presented to those, to ourselves, and also to those people who are needy of rational satisfaction. Every age is becoming more and more in need of rational satisfaction. That's why we have to get used to basing our belief matters on reasonable explanations, inshallah. That's what we are supposed to do here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, any last comments or questions? Okay, well, I think we can stop here. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين. Thank you, everyone.
Inshallah, I'll see you next week, Saturday. Inshallah. Thank you.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.